this morning before I went to work, I noticed. Oh my God, Weinstein. I noticed that Joe Rogan finally commented on his two friends, Sam Harris and Eric Weinstein, um, butting heads, basically. Um, please don't just play. And so I'll kind of back up and say what the drama is before I even get into it. But this is just so funny to me. Um, well, it's sad actually. It's horrific because Joe Rogan has such a large platform and has literally like COVID has just melted this poor guy's brain. Um, and now he can't even listen or understand his one of his BFFs, Sam Harris. So basically, here's the backstory. Sam Harris has been, uh, he was a part of the IDW with Brett Weinstein and Joe Rogan. They're really good friends. And Sam posted this on his Waking Up podcast, or sorry, Making Sense podcast. Basically, and he talks about for 28 minutes. Basically, he was asked a question: why don't you and Brett Weinstein have a conversation about COVID? You guys disagree. Why don't you guys have a sit down and talk with each other? Because the person who asked this question was so sad that these two guys, these two popular intellectuals are uh, are not getting along. So basically, I don't know if it's worth playing any of this, but basically, Sam's point is he doesn't think it's worth. Doesn't think it's. He thinks it's irresponsible to have a public conversation with Brett Weinstein about COVID vaccines and ivermectin. He thinks it's irresponsible because it is impossible to debunk these conspiracies in real time, and that it would do the public a harm. It would do harm to the public by basically platforming these harmful ideas. So he doesn't think it's worth sitting down with Brett Weinstein because it's the equivalent of debating someone like I think he says like an Alex Jones, and that's because it's so difficult to debate someone who has all of these little studies that it's impossible to have read every single one, and these studies are probably bullshit, um but it's impossible to combat this misinformation in real time. Okay, so he says it's harmful to platform these ideas. Okay, pretty, and I mean he does such a eloquent job of exactly stating his case, and it just could not be more clear. Okay, it's so obvious. He's so crystal clear. Okay, he doesn't want to platform these ideas, and if he were to debate them and not debunk them so perfectly, then it would do harm to the public discourse. Okay? Because people would listen to that and be like, oh shit, Sam Harris wasn't able. He wasn't able to combat Brett Weinstein's points. So Brett Weinstein must be right. So now I'm not going to get the vaccine. A little bit of context for Brett Weinstein. He's been peddling ivermectin and COVID vaccine misinformation for a very long time, for quite a while. And it got to the point where there was this guy who chose not to get the COVID vaccine, and then he died. And his family afterwards looked at his social media, and he'd posted and had been watching Brett Weinstein's podcast. I don't want to say that Brett Weinstein. I will say that Brett Weinstein's misinformation has been harming the public discourse, and absolutely aided in the death of this guy. I can't remember the guy's name. I think he was from the UK. Well, at least he was British. He had a European accent. So, Sam Harris, super crystal clear on his stance. Joe Rogan. Oh my God, Joe Rogan. I don't know if his just comprehension is so bad. Okay, I have no idea. Let's listen to Joe Rogan's reaction to Sam Harris's stance. Okay.
My friend Sam Harris, who I love dearly, I think he's a brilliant person. And then Brett Weinstein, I love him dearly. I think he's a brilliant person. They disagree vehemently, but they don't talk.
That's too bad.
Weinstein wants to talk, and Sam doesn't want to have him on because Sam essentially thinks he's almost like a flat earther now. And I was trying to figure out how to work this out, and I'm like, okay, let me just figure out what the approach is. And I don't think I could even get them together in a room. Like, Sam doesn't want to have Brett on his podcast, and so I'm like, okay, could I have the two of them on mine? Like, surely
that's too bad. What does Sam say?
Ground.
Why does Sam doesn't want? I mean, that's strange to me that he wouldn't want to.
I don't know.
I mean, because there's like, look,
I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Yeah,
I don't. But his position is that Brett is.
He should have just stuck with the I don't know and moved on. But now he attempts to state why, and it's not good.
Wildly incorrect about the efficacy of the vaccines, the dangers of the vaccines, and the effectiveness of them. And also that he's incorrect about how vaccines will select for more aggressive variants when the vaccines allow transmission, right? So being a leaky vaccine, this is the controversy. As one of the controversies that I got involved with too, because I tweeted a paper from 2015 that was specifically about how leaky vaccines, meaning vaccines that also allow.
And I should note that the author of that study said that Joe Rogan was fucking dead wrong about this. Joe Rogan just oh my God. It's embarrassing how bad he is at comprehension. Okay, so he used the study just horrifically wrong.
Transmission, like vaccines that don't necessarily 100% protect you from transmission, can select for more aggressive variants. Because so if there's one protein like in this vaccine that protects you from COVID, but then there are other vaccinated will select for these variants. And Sam's position was that first of all, this variant came from India, where there's way less people that are vaccinated. But I don't think Brett's position is that it's creating these variants, but it's that having people vaccinated for that variant selects for more aggressive variants. I'm too dumb to understand who's right. Right? And I hear this conversation going back and forth, and I'm like, are there going to be mutations no matter what? And apparently everybody says there is.
Delta came from the wild variant. Or not variant, from the wild COVID. Okay? It was not because of vaccines. That's just a fact.
Like if you have like a bunch of people infected by a disease, even if there's no vaccine, you're going to have variants, you're going to have mutations, viruses change and adapt, and you know, so it's fucking complicated shit. But it's Brett's wheelhouse. I mean, he is an evolutionary biologist.
Oh, dude. Apparently Joe Rogan thinks that evolutionary biology is the same as microbiology and epidemiology.
This is what he studies. So when he discusses it, he's not discussing it from a position where he's guessing. And then, I think the two of them probably could come to some understanding if they got together in a room and talked it through. But this is a part of the hysteria of the times, that people don't want to be associated with people that they think have questionable ideas or that are promoting.
Sam Harris never said that he doesn't want to be associated. He never said this. He never came close to saying this. He doesn't want to platform these harmful ideas. Boom. That's
questionable ideas, and there's a panic that's attached to this pandemic that is testing people's resolve and their intellectual fortitude in a way that I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you say he considers it a flat Earth theory. Well, why would you not want to debate somebody that has a flat Earth theory? It should be pretty easy for you.
Maybe
to
it's
win
also
that.
It should be pretty easy. I don't know if you've ever debated anyone who's a fucking flat earther, but they have their talking points down, like really fucking down well. It's very difficult to debunk this in real time. Okay? Okay, whatever. Okay, this guy is, I don't know.
It's not. I mean, he's a neuroscientist. Maybe it's not his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Maybe he thinks that someone else should do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, it's crazy.
But
it's not. I mean, he's a neuroscientist. Maybe it's not his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Maybe he thinks that someone else.
So, Joe Rogan speculates that his reasoning for not wanting to debate Brett Weinstein is because he thinks it is not his wheelhouse. Now, Joe Rogan gets his stance so incredibly wrong. It's embarrassing, okay? You would think that you would take the time to understand Sam Harris's point here. He makes it so obvious in this Ask Me Anything. Makes it so clear, okay? So crystal clear. I thought this video, I saw this morning, and I was just like, holy shit, dude. This is embarrassingly bad. Like, he mischaracterizes it in just such an obvious way. It's hilarious. Like, Joe Rogan, like, I was just like, dude, like, did you not listen to this? No, I know that he listened to it. I know that he's talked to Sam Harris. And yet he is so, like, didn't take the time to understand Sam Harris's point. So and also, like, strokes Brett's ego. And then, like, yeah, just horribly mischaracterizes Sam Harris's point. And now, this video struck me in particular because I know that Sam Harris has a pretty bad history of reacting to people criticizing him, even if they're the softest criticism ever. He responds horribly. The man doesn't do a great job taking any criticism. He actually does. It's a bad, okay? The man cannot take criticism well. at least in the cases that I've seen, and I'll list the cases that I'm referring to. Now, I think in order, maybe this isn't in order, but he tried to debate Noam Chomsky, and it got to the point where he and Noam Chomsky was like, yeah, they were talking over email, and he was like, yeah, I don't think I want to debate you. And Sam was literally lost his mind. He lost his mind. He posted all of their emails, and again, once his fans read the emails and saw that Sam Harris was acting very odd, and was in the wrong basically. And I've read the emails. I don't think it's worth going through them. But yeah, he was so surprised. He was like, why is no one taking my side? Okay. He was so surprised. He was blown away. Blown away. That, yeah, people were like, dude, you're wrong. Why the fuck did you post them? Bro. And he did not respond well at all. To his fans, to anyone. And so Sam Harris wrote this article in defense of torture. And anyone that has criticized him for that article, and basically the criticism is pretty similar to Sam Harris's criticism of Brett Weinstein. Basically, it's there's a context of COVID misinformation. So when you're just asking questions, it does harm. Measurable harm, okay, to the discourse in people's lives. Even if you have no matter how many caveats, it does harm to the discourse and has real life consequences, okay? And Sam Harris wrote this article in defense of torture. Basically, the criticisms were that article is going to have harm because of the context that he's writing this article. A bunch of brown people getting fucking killed, okay? A lot of civilians getting killed. A lot of people getting tortured, okay? There was a context to this article, and I don't know, I think that's clearly he understands that criticism, because he levied that exact same criticism of Brett Weinstein, okay? But his response to that criticism was basically, you're taking it out of context, it's bullshit. I guess I'll be a little bit more accurate. He said, you're taking it out of context, and ends up calling one of the critics, Sam Cedar, he ends up calling him a psychopath. He ends up saying that it was psychopathic behavior criticizing this article, okay? And yeah, no, that was I just listened to this where he called Sam Cedar a psychopath. And it was because, yeah, he says that you are mischaracterizing me to such an extent that it is psychopathic. And the criticism was just, the criticism is literally just, there's a context, and because of the context, this article did harm. Not that complicated, okay? And Sam Harris responded to the point where, yeah, he calls his critic a psychopath, which is hilarious. Calling Sam Cedar a psychopath. Man's not a psychopath. Alright. Now, the third example that I have of Sam Harris not responding to criticism well. I guess I have four, actually, but the third is his conversation with Ezra Klein and the concerning him interviewing the author of The Bell Curve. And I can't remember Bell Curve. I can't remember what this guy's name is. Something Murray. Charles Murray. Oh, okay, it is Charles Murray. So he platformed Charles Murray, and again, he was criticized, and God, he does not respond well to Ezra Klein. He did have Ezra Klein on, but he doesn't accept at all that he did not do a good enough job pushing back on Charles Murray. Okay, and he doesn't accept it, and he just, oh my God, the guy just could not acknowledge when he's done something wrong. Okay, he does not accept criticism well at all. And the fourth example is he did a debate with Sean Carroll about philosophy and metaethics. Long story short, it's just glaringly obvious that he was wrong, and the audience knew it. It was oh my God. And towards the end, Sam just can't acknowledge that he was maybe wrong on some stuff. Okay? Those are 4 examples of times where the guy just cannot acknowledge when he's wrong and does not accept, the evidence that he was maybe in the wrong here. Okay? Now, well, can I look at? Oh no, I can't look at it. Stats bar followers. Da, 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 da. So, 4 examples of Sam Harris unable to accept criticism, specifically when he believes that it's, about mischaracterizing him. And that's why I think that there's going to be a big falling out with Sam Harris and Joe Rogan. I think Sam Harris is going to see this clip, and he's going to be so upset. And I think Sam Harris and Joe Rogan, I think that they're going to have a huge falling out. And I don't know what that'll look like. I just know that based on Sam Harris's track record, he does not like being mischaracterized. And Joe Rogan mischaracterized him so badly here. Jesus Christ, dude, he's your friend. And he should have stuck with "I don't know" and left it at that. Because it got worse. It's just dude. God. And the reaction to this is, Sam Harris it's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious that you got it wrong, okay? Well, issue can't debunk in real time someone else's conspiracy. Also, Brett says ivermectin is effective against COVID when there isn't any hard evidence peer-reviewed to support it. To take this stance during a pandemic is dangerous to people who trust him. And I'm really happy with the people's reactions, at least some of them, that they're shitting on Joe here, and are not a huge fan of Brett Weinstein. But it's dude, he's your friend. I don't know. I'm super curious to see Sam Harris's reaction to this, but I think he's gonna be fucking really, really not happy with Joe Rogan. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him have a huge falling out. I wouldn't be surprised at fucking all. Literally at all. Because man does not like You're taking me out of context. You're mischaracterizing me, Joe Rogan. Joe! Watch the video. Did you watch my AMA? Ask me anything. Joe. It is irresponsible now of you to mischaracterize me in such a way. It's grotesque. It's psychopathic behavior. Joe, listen. You're taking me out of context. Joe, I thought we were friends, Joe. I cannot believe that you would take Brett's side in this. Oh my god, dude. Fuck.